What's up everybody, Arrg the Pirate here, and today I'm going to be playing a little Kwang in the offlane. As always, let's go over the deck. Now I have improved killing blows, mana generator, healing towers, mana reactor, damage return, and lastly, improved health regen for my gems. Now, for my cards, I have Cull the Weak, Exoskeleton, Green Spring, Possessed Sprykin, Growth Totem, Guard Piercer, Swamp Stalker, Swift Hunter, Vital Waters, Thunder Cleaver, Numbing Rogue, and lastly, Unbroken Spirit. Now, this match started off a little bit strange. We had our second pick was a Zinx support, which, that is kind of odd, but the enemy team did a great counter pick and picked up a Bellica, which, as we all know, Bellica zaps mana and Zinx needs mana, so that is a great counter pick on that enemy team part, and, that one hero alone almost completely shuts down our, what is supposed to be a support. So we definitely have to keep an eye on that. I would really like to test this out. It would have been nice if she was later in the draft. That way, we might not have had that counter pick. But it is what it is, and now we can really see how Zinx performs. And to be quite honest, I almost want to try Zinx as a support, just because, yeah, it's a little strange. So we'll keep an eye on that and really see if she's able to strive in that support role. So let's hope she does, and let's kind of get into this match. Now, I do have healing towers on, and I wasn't going to pick up my Possessed Sprykin, which I should have just took it out of the deck. I really wanted to go with, the Green Spring. That way I could build a much stronger late game, but we don't end up doing that. I accidentally grabbed that Possessed Sprykin because I'm so used to doing it for not having that healing towers for so long. And sure enough, we do pick up that early game Possessed Sprykin, which is still an amazing card. And if you are playing, the quicker matches, that 20 to 25 minute range or 25 to 30 minute range, Possessed Sprykin can give you a lot more bonus than other cards. But if you are using something like Growth Totem, you're really limited on to really just having that one card if you don't plan on getting rid of Growth Totem. Now, I am facing off against a Durango and a Steel. Now, Durango is kind of a burst ADC. With those uranium rounds and with his ability to slow, he can hit me for quite a bit of damage. And with that Steel having, that very short stun, it would be very easy for me to take just tons and tons of damage when I really don't need to. So it's best just to stay under tower, let that healing towers take effect. I'm still close enough to get farm from the minions, and I'm just going to allow this lane to push in and, really just kind of play safe. I really want to avoid any unnecessary damage. Now, I am still, doing my typical offlane thing, trying to stay as safe as possible, and I'm picking up Gift of Heavens, which I probably should really go for Light of Heavens. But you see here, I see that Steel rotate over to me. I go ahead and use that Light of Heavens to get that boost in damage, or that boost in damage reduction. And that really allows me to avoid a lot of the poke that Durango was able to put out. He still did hit me with a couple of those rounds, and you can see I did take a little bit of damage there. But with healing towers, I'm able to heal back up pretty quickly. So really using that Gift of the Heavens and paired with Light of Heavens to really, negate a lot of that damage is kind of key. And, going against a Steel and Durango who are capable of doing a ton of burst damage very, very quickly with a pretty good amount of CC, you really need to be careful. Now, I have hit level 5, and this is really going to allow me to be a lot more aggressive than I used to be. I can see my Chimera is very close, so I'm thinking he's going to rush over. So I'm going to play a little bit more aggressive, so they start playing a little bit aggressive, and you can see it kind of pushed that Durango out. I am able to clean up this, minion, no problem. But Chimera is very close, and we should be able to get a very good gank right here. So I'm just kind of waiting around to see what he's going to do. And I'm actually going to root that Durango under tower. We get a little bit of a tower poke on him. And this allows me to do kind of my full rotation. I'm able to go in and get a good amount of damage. Chimera shows up and cleans up that kill. That was a great play on his part. I wish he would have rotated over a little bit earlier, but that's no problem at all. As long as we secured that kill, and, we might not have been able to force steal out of lane, that's quite alright. We did do what we wanted to do. We got that assist. We end up actually securing the gold buff as well. This is going to allow me to back and put on that Possessed Sprykin. Now, Possessed Sprykin is a great card for that early game sustain. It gives you a decent amount of power as well, and you can play a lot more aggressive when you have that on. I really like this card, even though it does limit your in-game. It still feels like a very solid card, and you can see I take quite a bit of damage and just jump right back into the tower and I heal right back up. It is a very solid card, and, I prefer it over Green Spring, but Green Spring, you can take it off. Now, if you see here, I go after the Siege Minion last, and that was mainly because I do want this tower to go down. That will free me up to farm a lot better, as well as rotate more. Now, there is a big difference in letting them take the tower and forcing them to take the tower. I'm still forcing them to take the tower, even though I'm allowing some damage on it. And really the difference is they're having to stay in the lane to actually take this tower. That makes them, not able to rotate, which is what I want. But I do want them to down the tower. That, like I said, this will allow me to rotate as well as farm a lot safer. So I'm just kind of waiting for that to happen. Now, I did see that, Durango was loading his little special bullet, so I went ahead and used my Light of Heavens to kind of negate some of that damage. And, I am able to root that steal, so, that really avoided me taking even more damage. And, I'm just going to heal up. Possessed Sprykin does a great job. And that's going to allow me to not have to stay under tower. Now, I do miss that root, yeah, I'm that bad. And Countess does head over. You see, we're able to just absolutely delete Durango. And Steel is staying engaged on me, and I'm just kind of diving around, dipping around. I don't want him to take me out, and my team's able to secure that kill as well. Now, if I would have landed that root, it would have been a much smoother transition or a much smoother kill. But, it's no big deal. We were able to coordinate together. I am in comms with our Countess and our Murdoch, so, that worked out very well for us. And from here, we go ahead and take out this Tier 1. Now, I definitely want to get out as soon as we down this, but we are going to be able to down this. So, I go ahead and let everybody know, hey, we got to get out, and sure enough, we are able to leave. You can see I'm back to almost full health, even though I was down to, a quarter, maybe even less. That Possessed Sprykin just gives so much early game sustain, as well as having that Gift of the Heavens, and, I really like having that amount of lifesteal in that offlane position. It feels very solid. But, again, I need to stick around. I really want to defend my tower. I don't want to give them a free tower. Now, you can see our Murdoch is in Viz, so he's going to go in on this Durango. I'm going to actually get my root on Durango. I go ahead and ult him, and we're able to secure that kill. That worked out absolutely amazing. Having that communication with your team is just so nice. And that kind of brings me to my next point. If y'all want to play with me or would like to find a group of people that really love playing Paragon, join my Discord. I'm going to go ahead and leave a little link right here, as well as say thanks to the guys I was playing with. And, of course, you can join at any time. Just jump in, say, hey, y'all want to play. There's usually somebody on. So if you're looking to, team up with some people, we definitely would love to have you. Now from here, I'm going to head down my off lane. You can look at the minimap. There's not really a whole lot to do. I go ahead and ping attack raptor camps. You know, that's what our team should be securing right now. And I'm just going to kind of defend my lane. You know, this is a great opportunity to pick up some of those side objectives like raptors. You know, we might be able to really collapse on Prime, but an 11-minute Prime with, you know, 2 randoms is a little bit more difficult than, you know, typically a very well-coordinated team, as well as we might not be fed at this point. Now, I'm going in on this steal, and you can see I am using that Light of Heavens to really kind of do some damage. I was really hoping to get him, but he ends up ulting, and that really saves his life. But no problem. We did burn our ult for that, but we forced his ult out as well as forced him out of lane. This is going to allow me to hard push that lane, and then I'm going to rotate, really look for, you know, maybe if we can get a pick or something like that. Now, I did talk to my team, and there's nothing really going on at this moment, so I'm going to go ahead and head back. And this is where I was talking about. I wasn't planning on using that Possessed Brightkin. I was going to throw on Thunder Cleaver, but I am missing a lot of points. So if I would have remembered, I can't take this card off, I actually wouldn't have backed because I was fairly healthy. But no problem. Now, I decided to go keep some pressure on mid lane. I do see Countess heading over to that off lane, but like I said, I would like them to actually down that. This is going to allow me to set the lane further back and rotate for much, much longer. And, you know, since we are in kind of a team, this will help tremendously. Now, I do get my root off, and I'm able to do a little bit of damage to that Countess. Chimera makes a great play. He's actually able to come in and help secure that kill. So we got a great kill right there, but we definitely have to head back and actually defend this tower. You know, I don't want them to take the tier 2, so luckily we make it back in time, and they didn't have any siege minions, so we didn't have to worry about that, and they get just a very small amount of damage on our tier 2. Now from here, I want to see how well their team is going to react to a push. And that meaning I want to push this lane and see if we are going to have some form of rotation to deal with it. This will really allow me to know if I can set lanes and really forget about them, or if I need to set lanes and keep an eye on them. And knowing these two type of things is really important when you're talking about, you know, completely abandoning a lane for, you know, 3 or 4 minutes. So knowing that, I go ahead and hard push this lane, and you can see we do have steel over here. So steel is not going to allow me to really set that lane and just, you know, leave it alone until I can see it's being pushed back, or until it makes it all the way to the tower. We can see that he does have a lane presence, and we're either going to have to down him or, you know, remove him to actually make a play happen. Now, we make a very sloppy play in this mid tier 2, and you can see that Chimera showed up. I tried to do a little peel for Countess, but I left the tower, and she got tower aggro. You know, that was a bad play. You know, all in all, this was a very bad play. We should have had a lot more vision, and we should have said, hey, we're missing a lot of heroes on the map. This is probably not a good play. And, you know, that Chimera showed in right after we started the engagement, so there wasn't a whole lot we could do. And with Countess already being in the tower, you know, we had to, you know, there was really no way we could just turn around and break off. We had to make the effort. We paid very, very hard for it, but, you know, it was a 2-for-1 trade. Hopefully we can turn this around. They end up not actually being able to do anything about it other than get that farm. So let's hope that we can actually turn this around. Now again, from here, I'm going to test out and see if Steel's going to respond to my push, and sure enough, he actually does. So that's telling me I need to set my lane way in the back, and then, you know, that will push up to him, and it will be such a big wave that they will have to have some sort of effort to deal with it. Now, our Countess gets caught out just a little bit there, and I try to go over and help her out, but I'm just not going to be able to make it in time. That is unfortunate, but the rest of our team is in the safe lane, and they're putting a ton of pressure on that tier 2, and hopefully they'll be able to secure that tower, and sure enough, they do. So, we end up taking a tower for a caster death, and, you know, that's really a great play, so no problem. It would have been nice if she didn't go down, but she basically traded for a tier 2, and that's a win. From here, I'm going to head to try to get this purple buff. Steel grabs it, unfortunately, but hey, no problem. Now, I'm going to try to ping, you know, enemies are stealthing, you know, I'm trying to find it. Steel ends up engaging on me, which, you know, that's a little odd, but no problem. Me and Zinx are here. Hopefully we can get a little damage on him, but I say, hey, let's leave Steel alone. We're getting collapsed on in mid. You know, I don't want to deal with the tank when, you know, we've got some damage dealers heading in. And sure enough, that was the right call. We end up actually getting into a bit of a team fight here in mid. Their Chimera heads in, and I'm going to go ahead and just ult him, try to get him out of the fight. I don't want him to actually get his stacks up to where he can heal up. You know, that's really important with Chimera. If you allow him to just kind of freely hit everybody, he will, you know, take everyone out. We are able to secure that Countess kill, so right now we're at a 2-for-1 fight. You know, both Countesses down and their jungler down, so we're doing, you know, we came out on top in that team fight. And I am able to pick up purple, so from here, you know, maybe I can make a play happen somewhere. Now, our Chimera ended up going and heading over to the offlane to deal with that push, so that's great. I end up staying in mid, and we're just kind of seeing what we can do. I end up heading over to the offlane, and Steel runs by with green buff, so I'm just going to leave him alone. You know, Steel probably can't take me out, but with green buff, he can do a significant amount of damage to me, and, you know, there's no risk in, you know, worrying about a team collapse. So we end up heading back to mid because, you know, yeah, the enemy are there. You know, if I would have engaged on that Steel, we would have had a team fight right there. And that's not what we want to see, especially with them having that green buff. That could really do some damage to someone like Countess. Now, we've got everything kind of set, and, you know, hey, it's time to take out some Raptors. So, again, we go ahead, head over to Raptors, and we're able to secure them again for the second time. So our ADC's getting fed, which is what we want. Now from here, we are able to collapse in mid and really start a team fight. I ult in on this Durango, and, you know, Bellica's got her stun with Steel Stun, so I'm getting CC'd pretty hard, but no problem. We are able to actually take out this Steel, so we're having a pretty good fight, and we end up taking out that Durango as well. I end up going down, so right now we're at a 2-for-1. Countess ends up actually heading in, and she's able to take out our Countess. So that's a bit unfortunate, but, you know, we did make a play happen. We need to really concentrate on winning these team fights. Now, our Murdoch is narrowly able to get out, and I really have no idea how he did. But look at these jukes. I mean, he just barely escaped some of that, which is great. You know, that was great play, great dodging on his part, or great missing on Bellica's part. I'm not sure which, but he got out, and that's exactly what we want to see. Now, again, I get tricked by my possessed Sprykin. I thought I had enough for Unbroken Spirit, and you can see I could have changed the attribute points and actually picked it up, but, you know, it is what it is. Now, I just bull rush right into Steel. See what I did there, bull rush? But he's not a threat to me at the moment, so no big deal. I just forced that lane down his throat, and I'm going to head to mid. Now, Countess is saying, hey, if you can help out with this Bellica, we can take mid. So that's exactly what I'm going to do, but we end up getting collapsed on while I was making that very aggressive play, and that's just, you know, it was bad. Countess ends up actually going down for that, and you can see here, their Countess ends up heading to me. I get my root off, and, you know, we're able to secure that a little bit, and, you know, then I peel around and head back to mid because, you know, Countess is there, and I need to be there for my Murdoch. So we definitely want to make sure that he gets out. Countess shows up, and she's able to take me out. Unfortunately, Murdoch did not get that Countess, but hey, no big deal. Now, our Chimera is getting into a fight here in the jungle, which, you know, that was one of the issues that we were having is you know, we kind of had two team fights going on at the same time when we really should have all been concentrating on one thing. All in all, that was a very sloppy play that, you know, I started. And not having that map awareness, not knowing where the enemies are, you know, that was another downfall. As well as, you know, we should not have been that aggressive on that tier 2, especially with all their heroes up. It would have been a much better idea to kind of hang back, and you can see we are still winning the tower game, but we are slowly losing the team fight, so we're getting, you know, the enemy team is getting more fed than us, and this is an issue. From here, I'm going to head back into that offlane and, you know, secure that offlane. It is pushing against us again, so I definitely have to secure it and get it set on the right path. But again, you can see with these careless fights we're getting in and not winning, it's really starting to hurt us. Now, I am going to just hard push this lane. You know, we do have two of our damage dealers down, and I just really want to get some pressure off of the other lanes, and by pushing this, you know, that's going to alleviate a lot of that pressure. Now, I do get collapsed on by their Steel and Countess. I'm able to root them and, you know, just kind of get out. I go ahead and take out that jungle camp just to heal up a little bit, and, you know, I'm kind of hanging out, seeing what's going to actually happen. Steel ends up backing, Countess heads to mid, so again, I'm going to clean up this lane, and then I'm going to rotate to mid to really help out. And you can see here, I set that lane, which remember, setting lanes is key. Now we do get into a team fight here in mid, and, you know, we end up going in on this Chimera. You know, I was actually trying to root somebody else, but, you know, he was the closest one. I would have actually backed off at this point, but since Chimera did decide to challenge, I say, hey, you know what, let's go for it. Steel rotates, you know, with Durango's silence and everything like that. We just get CC'd and, you know, just all kinds of CC'd to death. So we end up actually just getting slaughtered there. And unfortunately, our Zinx was not in that fight at all. You know, which, since she did pick up that support role, you know, her being in the fight is really critical. And you can see we're getting into team fights. We are just not winning these team fights, and this is really kind of where the match starts going downhill. Now, that's the second play we've decided to go in on as a team for that tier 2 inhib, and it's the second time their entire team has rotated and, you know, absolutely demolished us. So, you know, that really has to wake us up is, you know, hey, we need to pick our fights a lot better. And really, you know, we have to work on our coordination as well as, you know, we need to pick a target that we're going after. And we're really just not quite doing that at the moment. So, you know, hey, it is a learning experience and hopefully we can, you know, kind of make some progress. Now, I do end up going to mid. You know, I knew we wouldn't be able to push that lane much further, and with them having super minions in mid lane, I need to go clean that up, and you can see I'm just barely able to. So, going back, you know, leaving that off lane or leaving the safe lane was, you know, a good decision because this lane would definitely push against us. Now, here is another key point that I want to point out, and our Murdoch and Countess are pushed up just a little bit too far. You know, that we knew that they were going after that river buff, and this is really kind of, you know, in this later game with their team having as much CC as they do, you have to avoid these situations. You know, I wouldn't have engaged on that situation, but I was trying to do as much peel as I could, and you see we just get absolutely demolished again. So we are being punished severely for making bad choices and, you know, really just being caught out. And that is a real issue. So if you are, you know, a squishier hero like an ADC, like a burst caster, you know, playing aggressive in this late stage is not always the best option. You want to play safe. You can still play aggressive, but you have to pick your times and places. Look to see if the enemies are, you know, on the map or things like that. And really, those 3 deaths kind of cost us the game right there. They end up picking up Prime, and, You know, we try to do what we can to save it, but, you know, at this point, there's not going to be a whole lot we can do. Now, before this video wraps up, I'd kind of like to highlight, you know, the real ending factors of this match. You know, the first time was the time when we dove that Bellica under tower. You know, me and Countess kind of coordinated that, but we ended up having a team collapse and they took us out. And then again, we did the same thing at that tier 2. So, you know, those were really poor decisions. And then lastly, our ADC and our Burstcaster getting caught out right at the end. And me not only, you know, backing up whenever I had the opportunity, but I engaged to try to help. And you saw it took us down. And those 3 plays right there really cost us the game. So I really hope this helps. I really hope showing these type of matches can help out and help y'all grow as, you know, a team. We ended up not having a horrible match. You know, that last death was, you know, it was the end of the game, but we ended up really being 1-4-9 and, you know, or 1-5-9. So, you know, this wasn't the horrible match. We did have a good impact, but we were losing those team fights. We were not coordinating as good as we should as a team. We were engaging when we didn't have proper vision. You know, all these factors led to a loss. Well, guys, that's going to wrap it up. I really hope y'all enjoyed this video. I did try to bring y'all a video of us playing very uncoordinated and making very poor decisions, so hopefully y'all can learn from our mistakes. And if you did enjoy, leave me a comment, think about subscribing. You know, let me know if you would like to see more videos like this. And as always, I'll see y'all in the next video.